Welcome to the latest edition of the Fourth and Gold podcast. We enter week 5. We're already a month through. So let's get straight into it. Thursday night football, NFC West divisional. My San Francisco 49 IRs against the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to kick off, Paul. It's week 5 and the 49ers have 7 starters unavailable. It's just, what are we doing wrong? Like, it's not bad luck at this point. It's just, what are we doing wrong? Is it the physical brand of football that we play? It's just not sustainable anymore. I don't know, but, it's really like this is an uphill battle. Mac Jones at quarterback. Our top 3 receivers are unavailable. George Kittle is unavailable. Bosa's obviously out for the season. It's too much to overcome, I think. What the receiving core tonight is Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Sky Moore, Russell Gagey, and Kendrick Bourne. And the irony that 3 of those were on the Chiefs when they beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So that's not a core that scares me. Like, I think that the Rams, it's simple. Just don't let McCaffrey go off and you'll win this game. Simple as that. What I will say, I'm not impressed with the Rams, and I'm not buying them as a contender. Will they win this division? They might win this division. But if you're going to tell me that they are on the same level as the Eagles or the Lions, no bueno. I'm not buying that for a minute. They beat the Texans, who are 1-3, scraped past them. They struggled against the 0-4 Titans. That's cute. They had a great half against the Eagles when Jalen Hurts was having one of his I can't throw the ball moments. And then they didn't score in the second half. And they've kind of lucked out against the Colts as well, where I don't know who the DB was, but he slipped and Tutu Atwell had an 80-yard touchdown. And then Daniel Jones turned back into Daniel Jones. There's plenty of time on the clock. No, let me just throw it into double coverage. So I like the players on this Rams team, but I'm not buying them as a contender. Nakua, amazing. Stafford, still amazing. This young defense is very promising, but you can't tell me that they're on the level of the Lions or the Eagles. They are getting a freebie, in my opinion, tonight, and they're probably going to get a freebie in a couple of weeks with a Lamar Jackson-less Ravens. It's pretty simple. Stop McCaffrey, and the Rams will win tonight. I'd love to say that there will be an upset. It's not going to happen. 7 starters is too many to overcome.
So I don't think I hear what you're saying about the Rams and not being contenders. I don't think it matters. We're heading into week 5. Like, it's not about, you don't win the Super Bowl in the first quarter of the season, but you can certainly lose the Super Bowl. You can certainly you'd rather be the Rams than be the Ravens or the Bengals, or there's numerous teams could go around the league and go, a lot of teams would trade positions with the Rams. Like, yeah, they threw away that game against the Eagles, but there were also a few Stafford missed throws in the first half away from killing the Eagles, and then the game would have been out of hand. So if I bet a team to win a division or a Super Bowl, they cannot win it in weeks 1 through 4, but they can certainly give me cause for concern. And with the Rams, the concern that I would have would be Seattle, would be the promise that Seattle are showing, the young defensive starters that they have, the offensive, the pace that they have on defense, the young guys stepping up. But anyway, we'll get to Seattle later. They're in a great game this week against the Bucks. So yeah, that's going to tell us a lot about the NFC and where we stand. But last year, I mean, Philadelphia went into Tampa and lost. And what were they, 2-2? And heading into their bye week, and then went on a run and only lost one game in the rest of the regular season. So look, you can't win the Super Bowl, but you can certainly lose the Super Bowl. Hello, Cincinnati. Hello, possibly Baltimore. Hello, San Francisco. Like in this matchup. I mean, yeah, like easy schedule. It's an easy schedule if you have certain guys playing for you. But this matchup is always close. And you keep on at me about the Niners own the Rams. I mean, they have in recent past, but this is going to be tricky for the 49ers. You said it. The way that the 49ers are going to want to play is McCaffrey's going to have to go off. And I don't know. I'm watching McCaffrey and I just think completely understandable. The guy trains like a complete maniac, but he is older. He's been banged up and he seems to have lost a bit of a step. He's not running away from guys.
He's not explosive anymore, but oddly, he's still going for the most like under the radar 130, 150 total scrimmage games ever. Like, has there been a game this year where you've sort of gone, whoa, McCaffrey went off in that game? I don't think so, but he's racked up the yardage.
Well, yeah, and I heard this. He's having a lot of kind of between 10 and 15 yard runs, but they used to be 20 to 30 to 50 yard runs where he the big runs, like he's creating big chunk devastating plays. And he's still, don't get me wrong, I'm not getting at Christian McCaffrey. It's just what happens to the best of us. Like you age.
He's not at his peak, but he's still really good, like compared to
really good. And definitely take him in my backfield. But from where he was and how he was the guy and you're the centerpiece of your offense, like that would be a concern, especially with, like you said, the guys who are stepping up the guys who are forced into action at receiver and Purdy now, and then Purdy came back, and should he have come back, and was he ready? And then maybe he wasn't ready, and now he's out again, and we're back to Mac Jones, and this is not the Saints defense, this is the Rams defense, this is the Rams D-line against your O-line, and yeah, I think it's going to be a long night for the 49ers. Because of the recent history, I wouldn't touch the spread. The spread now, I believe, last I checked, 8.5. Yeah, I'm not getting involved with the spreads. Short week. It's in LA.
It's at Levi South, yes.
Okay, is that yeah? So yeah, short week on the road. Rams win. Pray for no more Niners injuries.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, these are not long-term injuries. Like we've had Kittle gone since week 1. He's going to be back soon. You know, Jennings, Pearsall, that's a killer. Like if they had played tonight, to be honest, I probably would have taken the Niners. But when you got 7 starters out, that's just a bridge too far.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, the 49ers, the Ravens on defense, the amount of guys that they've lost, like the 2 Chargers tackles, just going around the NFL now.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors, like Jackson Dart turns up and pulls off like the rookie start. He wins his first game against the Chargers, and you're like, wow, like go on Jackson Dart and loses Malik Neighbors. So it's even more that he won that game because Neighbors went out early. Yeah, the NFL is just brutal, and I mean, it's a broader subject, but Tyreek Hill and the amount of kind of turf-related injuries that guys are having now, where their body's moving one way and their lower limb is moving in the other direction. I mean, I think they've just got to do a better job of preparing fields.
They certainly need to investigate MetLife because the run that MetLife is on is ridiculous now. It's like 8 in 7 years, something like that. So
Yeah, there's too much money involved in this sport,
yeah,
and these guys are on big money. I mean, they're still getting paid, but like, it's not what you want to see as a consumer.
no.
There's gambling involved now. You know, people paying big money to see the games, to stream the game.
And
Yeah,
and on that point, I just want to send like well wishes to Tyreek Hill, who on that catch that dislocated his knee took my bet over. So I thank you, Tyreek, and I wish you well.
that was surely his motivation. Making nuts. He was aware.
Just hold on to the ball. Okay, so we move on to it's another Sunday with 4 windows of games. The first of which at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I will be in attendance for the Cleveland Browns versus the Minnesota Vikings. What say you on this one, Paul?
Defense all around. Watched the watched Vikings Steelers, and a very good game played for the majority of that game by the Steelers, and the Vikings are banged up on the offensive line, really banged up. I believe the latest count they're down 3 starters on the O line going against Browns, and the Browns have got a really good defense. The Browns are going to cause absolute chaos. And Carson Wentz is not good against pressure, historically and recently from last week. He gets rattled, and he is going to be rattled this week by this Browns defense. Uh,
He held on to the ball like way too much, in my opinion. Like you said, the pressure got to him. Like pressure burst pipes at the end of the day, and he froze in those moments. And I just wanted to sort of scream at him and say, just chuck it up to Justin Jefferson in those moments. You've got the best receiver in the league. I don't care if he's double covered. He'll find a way.
Yeah, they did get Jefferson involved. I mean, Jefferson still went for over 100 yards, but
Yeah.
it's almost like, yeah, it's almost a just blindly just throw it to Jefferson. But he wasn't seeing pressure sometimes. You know, he's looking away. I mean, the Patrick Queen sack just jumps to me where he did not see him until he was in his grill. Well, he was on his ass, Wentz, but yeah, he was literally there before he even turned to see. But you give him some slack because the pressure last week was coming from everywhere. But I fear that the pressure is going to be coming from everywhere this week as well. And the Browns, like just look at the tape from last week. So rinse and repeat. And the Steelers were blitzing, but they weren't crazy blitzes. They weren't sending the house. They were still playing a bit of coverage on the back end. So Cleveland with the D line, I don't think they're going to have to send. I think they could get home with 4 quite often, especially against and offensive lines around the NFL. I mean, when you're down 3 starters, the amount of serviceable offensive linemen, there's not enough. There's not enough, and the D linemen around the NFL, they're better athletes than the offensive linemen. It's higher paid, except if you're a left tackle, elite left tackle. Well, it's no pass rushers are making more than a pass rusher would make more than an elite tackle. So And you can just see it now. There's just guys just come in and pass rushers can wreck games and almost single-handedly win games. Hello, like Max Crosby for the Raiders, like almost like winning games on his own when the rest of the team is kind of in a complete disaster. Yeah, this game, I mean, interesting. So Dylan Gabriel making his first NFL start internationally against Brian Flores.
Talk about setting your quarterback up for success.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers gets rid of the ball historically quick within 2 seconds quite often. Don't think Dylan Gabriel's going to be able to do that. Don't think he's going to read well, not saying that Rodgers is reading defenses in 2 seconds, but he knows where the read is. He knows where he's going before the snap. Is Dylan Gabriel ready? Well, we're certainly going to find out, and Flores is going to make sure that we find out. I think this is going to be a really, really low-scoring game. I think it's going to be fascinating because I think it's one of those games where I'm just going to watch the two lines. I don't think the ball's going to get outside all that often. I think it's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of plays that are going to be ruined at the line of scrimmage either way. So, on that basis, I'm gonna pick the Browns to. It's a minor upset. Yeah, it's an upset. They are 3.5-point dogs, and I don't know. I just think the Rams D line is going to absolutely wreck the Vikings offensive line and Carson Wentz. And I think the Vikings' only hope is Justin Jefferson. But the Browns are good enough on defense everywhere, like in the secondary as well. Ward will be shadowing Jefferson. He's still going to have his 100 yards. Like, it's almost just guaranteed. But is Wentz going to have time to throw the ball and make them into devastating plays? I don't think he will. And I think the Browns are going to make it very vanilla on offense for Gabriel. The Vikings, I don't think it's an advantage staying overseas for 2 weeks because they stayed in Ireland, but they're still coming over to London. So yeah, I get it. It's only an hour Dublin to London, but still, they're not in the same base. They're not in the same hotel. I don't like the Vikings in this spot. Like, yeah, it should be an advantage being overseas for 2 weeks. I don't think it is. If things have gone badly, and they did go badly last week. Yeah, I like the Browns in a mini upset. I'm going for Dylan Gabriel in his first NFL start to beat a Brian Flores defense. It sounds absolutely crazy when I say it, but it's more a pick with the Browns and their defense and Myles Garrett, who apparently is hurt, but he's not hurt. He just wants to skip a practice probably, or see the sights. I don't know if they're already here in London, but Garrett has got previous for this. He is on the injury report, and then he turns up like fully healthy, ready to go on the Tottenham turf, which is a NFL, which is it's on a tray, isn't it? It's custom made.
Yeah.
It hasn't been played on since the last game, or I don't know if it's a new for this year. So there's going to be none of those MetLife, Sao Paulo, Miami Hard Rock Stadium, those kind of turf issues. It's custom built, an NFL stadium in a soccer football facility, UK football facility. Yeah. So, yeah, give me the Browns.
This is a tricky one. The fact that they are throwing Gabriel in this week, as you said, on the road internationally, like I don't know. Like to me, that's a mistake. Like, give the guy a chance to settle in, like in a home game or something like that. Two really intimidating defenses, but I've got to say, I feel like the winner of this game is who can get their run game going. And we've got two really good running backs. Jordan Mason for the Vikings can definitely be a number one. He's
Yeah.
been asked to because Aaron Jones is banged up again. And he's doing what he did with the Niners. Like he can make it happen. Quinshon Judkins, though, he has impressed me. Like, I don't know enough about the off-field stuff to comment on it, but on the field, this guy runs with attitude and effort. He's fighting for every blade of grass. I mean, they're down double digits against the Lions, and the guy is like fighting like his life depends on it. So I think that's a good sign. And I look at this Browns offense, and I'm like, it's not terrible. Judkins is promising. I love my man David Njoku. Judy, while he's not a number one, can be productive. And then there's some holes, I get it. But there's teams that are worse off. Like there's quarterbacks that have less support than that. So up until now, I don't really understand why we're still going with Joe Flacco. So maybe that is why the change is needed now. The Gabriel factor scares me though. Like I know it's Carson Wentz, and as I was saying, he can't hold on to the ball for as long as he's holding on to it. And maybe it's a bit of like I haven't played frequently enough recently. I think I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I'm just it's one of those like Jackson Dart last week. This week we've got Dylan Gabriel. It's either gonna work really well or it could be a bit of a nightmare. I don't know if it will be a complete nightmare, but I just can't trust the Browns with a new quarterback internationally playing for the first time. I'm going to take the Vikings. As you said, I don't think it's an advantage either that they've been in Ireland and and now traveled to London. It's not like the Jaguars who played back to back in London and are settled for 2 weeks. But I think they've got more to offer on offense. And I'm just going to bank on Carson Wentz having a better day. It was really promising, like the return of Jordan Addison. I think that helps Jefferson a lot because Jefferson, that was his biggest game of the season. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Jordan Addison is back, Hawkinson's there, Naylor, their third receiver, is there. Now it's opened up a bit. So I'm going to take the Vikings, but I don't love it. Next up. Wow, this is a real interesting game. We have got the Texans at the Ravens. The spread is 2.5 in favor of the Texans. I guess that is the Lamar Jackson factor, that it will be Cooper Rush at quarterback. They said it on PFT this week. It's quite an odd choice of a backup for this team because he's not going to be able to run the Lamar Jackson offense.
No. Well, who can?
Yeah, but I mean, like for example, with the Commanders, they've got Mariota, who's kind of in the style.
It's not a lot of guys though.
It's not a lot of guys. That's right.
Trying to think of others who are out there who could.
They tried Huntley before, and that was quite a
they
drop-off.
Right. Who was the backup they used? Was it? No, it wasn't Huntley. Was it Huntley?
Did they have Tyrod Taylor last year? No, not last year. Maybe the year before.
But they used to have who always used to play. We always used to seem to have the Ravens in week 18, and the backup quarterback almost. It might have been Huntley. Huntley's more mobile than you think.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's to me made more sense because Huntley played against the Bengals in the playoffs for the
But
Ravens.
he where does he play now? Because he got paid somewhere. Well, he got paid more than the Ravens were offering.
Yeah, I feel like he was at the Dolphins for a while. I don't know.
He was at the Dolphins, yeah, last
Yeah.
yeah. He was one of those two stand-ins. I don't know where he is now, but yeah, for the Ravens, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're spitballing now, but yeah, the Ravens would have the yeah. Huntley kind of came in. It was like, oh, damn, we can't relax, but like the guy can still escape the pocket. This guy can still.
Yeah. So now you've got Cooper Rush, which is a more of a drop back quarterback. He's going to be in the pocket.
Skip Bayless's favorite quarterback.
Mr.
Not that that
5-0 when Dak was injured. But as you were saying earlier, the injury bug has caught the Ravens. Justin Madubuike out for the season, and that has shown up in what they've been allowing in the run game, especially against the Lions. Big Dave just ran them over like into the ground. It wasn't a great showing last week either. Like even with Lamar, like there's problems here. Lamar looked frustrated from really early on, and 4th and 2 at their 40. Those are the types of downs they usually get, but they just look a bit lackadaisical. Like, oh, we're going to throw it in shotgun, and Lamar's thinking he's got 5 or 6 seconds back there. No, the Chiefs are blitzing you, and you're you're dead to rights. But then you look at the Texans, and that scoreline flatters the Texans last week. They were in a game for a while there against the 0-4 Titans. Okay, like it unraveled in the end, but this Texans offense is really, really worrying now. I'm not really going to take much stock from last week. I do like the running back. I can't remember his name, but he's given them a little bit of a lift in the run game because they needed it. I don't know when Joe Mixon is back, but Chubb's not really able to be Chubb anymore, I don't think. So what's it going to be? The struggling Texans offense or Cooper Rush? I've really lost faith in the Texans, but without Lamar, does Cooper Rush have the weapons? He kind of does. He can kind of throw the ball, but this Texans defense is good. It's probably the best unit on the field this Sunday.
After the quarterback as well.
Yeah.
And the Ravens are down the tackle. Stanley's doubtful to play the left tackle. Like they've got 2 edge rushers coming at you, and they're coming after Cooper Rush because you can't get anywhere.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take the Texans, but this to me feels like a bit of a trap game because it is in Baltimore, and that's how far the confidence level for me has dropped with the Texans. There's something not right in either of these organizations right now, I don't think, behind the scenes. But the Texans are healthier, and I'm going to roll with the Texans mainly because their defense will be the best unit on the field.
So the Ravens, to me, are, well, both of these teams are probably amongst the most disappointing so far in the NFL. Not in terms of records. I mean, we've got winless teams, but in terms of expectations versus reality to this point. And with Baltimore, I mean, just the sheer number of guys, like I think latest count, it's 6 or 7 Pro Bowlers out on defense. And they've got previous for this because last year at this point, or around this point, they were the worst defense against the pass in the NFL. and they ended up being well, they were the top defense against the pass, but not overall because the first bit of the season was so historically bad. So they ended up being kind of, I think it was in the top tens, but this year it's due to personnel. And Lamar doesn't play well against Kansas City. And Lamar doesn't play well against Steve Spagnuolo and that scheme. And they know how to contain him. And they certainly did contain him. But this is Cooper Rush and the Texans. Yeah, to me, I'm just going to simplify this game. I don't really have a great feel for it at all. But the Ravens have just lost so many guys, and the Texans have not. That I think the Texans can play a not perfect game and come out of town with a win against the Ravens at this point. And I know they're in my division, but I don't like seeing Baltimore like this. I want Baltimore to challenge because I love the way they play. I love the way they play football, but when you have just lost that number of guys, it's just almost not fair at this point. And to add to that, the injuries are now coming in on offense, so it's not just all on defense. Now you've lost your quarterback and your left tackle, and all those guys on defense. Pretty much all of the D line is out or carrying significant injuries to Alf Van Noy. You just can't cope with that. You can't. So I'll pick the Texans, but almost by default, just because of the number of guys down for the Ravens, and just hope for the Ravens that Lamar is a 1 or 2 week injury, like I'm hearing.
That's surprising because it's a hamstring.
Yeah, and if he comes back with a hamstring, with the way that he plays football, then
be careful. Yeah.
You don't want to come back early with a hamstring.
Mm-mm.
And then it becomes a more significant problem.
Yeah.
But they're in the AFC North. And the AFC North is now currently Cooper Rush. And what's the name of the Bengals guy now? I've even forgotten.
Jake Browning,
Dylan Gabriel, and
Aaron Rodgers.
He's a name at least, but he's 41 years old, Aaron Rodgers. 2-second Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, the AFC North is not heading into week 5 what it was at the start of the season.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we've got the Dolphins at the Panthers. The spread is -1 in favor of the Dolphins. The Dolphins on Monday night in their Black Rivalries jerseys, they were up for it. They looked fast again. Like they looked like they had swagger. I don't know. I'm almost sitting there saying, is it the jerseys that just gave them a lift? Because they look like the old Dolphins for a good part of that game. Losing Tyreek Hill, it's just devastating because you want to see someone like that. Like he was just starting to find his way again with Tua these last few weeks. Like they got the connection back, and then he has that horrific injury. And now the return of Darren Waller.
What a catch.
What a catch.
What a catch by Waller, who was on the couch last year. What a catch.
It's insane. 2 touchdown debut. And I think that the price for that was insane. So they got Achane going. Tua looked pretty good, I know they were playing against the Jets.
Yeah, I was going to say I love guys who look good playing against this Jet. So we'll go through the Jets later. But how many points did the Jets give up so far through 4 weeks?
Yeah, exactly.
Electric against the Jets defense.
And now this week they play against a team that is in a similar boat. We were sitting here last week and I was on the cusp of picking the Panthers, but just that alarm bell rang that was like, it is the Panthers. So I was like, 11th hour, I'll take the Patriots. Um, and yeah, it worked out okay. I don't know what to say about the Panthers. It's almost like they got their win. It was a divisional game, right? They know that team very well. They know the Falcons very well, and the Falcons had a bad day. I think the Dolphins are going to win back to back. I think that even without Tyreek Hill, they will take a lot of confidence from the way that they played in the first half on Monday night. It wasn't perfect by any account, and defensively, as you've said, like they can be very suspect. But I just have no confidence at all in the Panthers. I can't take anything really, from that one good week, but it was kind of like Michael Penix sold the game in that one. As much as I've criticized Tua, I don't think he's going to sell the game to that extent. And I just want to say, Tua's over under on rushing on Monday night was 1.5. And I'm going to be looking out for that again this week. He doesn't run that much, but he does run a little bit. So that was interesting to me. I'll take the Dolphins. They've got their swagger back a bit. And, well, against bad teams at least, here's serving up another bad team for them. They win. Spread is -1. They cover.
Yeah, I don't like either team. Really, really don't. They I don't know a great deal about the Panthers. The only game I've watched in detail was that Falcons game, so maybe my opinion was a bit screwed by that. Hence, I picked Panthers last week to beat the Patriots. That did not turn out well. But then I am out on the Patriots, so maybe I need to just be a little bit more objective and forget about my biases heading into the season and actually just read the games as I see them and react to them accordingly. Panthers have not conceded a point at home this season.
Mm.
I mean, they played one game, and the Dolphins still nearly lost that game to the Jets. If it weren't for the running back's heading in to score for the Jets on the opening drive, and he fumbles at the 1 yard line, and the Jets lose the game by 6. And the Jets had, what was it, like 12, 13 penalties and four or five turnovers in the game. And still the game was, yeah, they scored a late touchdown to make it within score, but how many, what's the record like historically in the NFL if you turn the ball over like 4 times and had 13 penalties. So the Jets, I think that game was more like the Jets lost it rather than the Dolphins actually won it. I think the Dolphins are there for the beating on most weeks this season, especially now you've lost Tyreek Hill. And yeah, I don't like the Dolphins defense. That is for sure. Don't like the Dolphins defense against anybody, even the Panthers.
Mm.
So I just don't like this game. I'm gonna have to pick somebody. I'll pick the Panthers. Their defense is elite at home.
They're batting 100 at home.
So got to pick somebody. I'll pick the Panthers. This is not a betting game for me. This is more just. I think the Dolphins are heading absolutely nowhere. I think the Panthers of the two teams do have a shot to do something, whether it's a very long shot that they do anything, but the Panthers have more chance to make the playoffs as a wild card. The Dolphins are not making the playoffs. So yeah, I'll take the Panthers. Don't love it, but got to take somebody. And yeah, wait and see with Carolina. Is Bryce Young actually? He was a bust. Then he came back, and now he's a bust again. I don't know. You're supposed to progress in a kind of a linear fashion, right? So he was going that way, and now suddenly he's back. I don't know. I don't know. I don't watch enough Panthers football to evaluate him on a week to week basis, and you don't get a lot of media coverage with the Panthers. So
There's a reason for that.
there is a reason for that. Yeah, sure. But they're elite at home on defense so far.
Okay.
We'll see.
Like it's one of those weeks where like it always happens early on in the season. Like I feel like this is that week where, you know, you predict really well all season, like 10-7, or no, wait, 10-6, 11-5. And there's always that one week that it's like, oh, I went 5-11 this week. I feel like this could be that week.
Yeah.
The next game, it's the Raiders at the Colts. And we've kind of been here before with the Raiders 2 weeks ago. They played at 10 a.m. local their time against the Commanders. Well, here they go again, this time in Indianapolis. What are your thoughts on this one, Paul?
So the Colts are exactly what I just said in the last game. They are my preseason bias heading into the season. So I was out on the Colts, and that has led me to call them fraudulent. And I watched the game against the Rams, and I think that was a bit strong. I think the Colts are actually pretty good. I think they were actually a little bit unlucky against the Rams last week. That play didn't turn out the way that it turned out, and Jonathan Taylor's playing at an elite level. He's really, really damn good. And the Colts, I knew this heading into the season. I was just completely out on Daniel Jones. They are talented all around. They're just not like, oh, wow, or they got him. They've got a lot of, 7 out of 10 guys. And that adds up in the NFL. Especially we just finished talking about the Ravens. When you're down some guys and then you've got backups coming in, and they're not 7 out of 10 guys. But a lot of Colts players are. They're a well-constructed roster and have been for years. They just have not been able to figure out the quarterback position. And Daniel Jones just plays out a 7 out of 10. They're going to win some games. So I fear that my Colts under 7.5 wins is in jeopardy at this stage. And the Raiders, I mean, Geno Smith, he leads the league in picks. Is that right?
I think so. It's either him or Flacco. No, it's him. It's him.
The Raiders are just a really confusing team. Like Pete Carroll is come in to save them, but they are the Raiders, so it's going to take some time. So it's almost like the brand of the Raiders, like the dysfunction is deep. It's going to take a long time for him to turn it around. They are used to losing games. But Max Crosby doesn't like losing games, and he's an absolute monster. And I love watching him play. You love those stories in the NFL, like late round draft pick goes to play for the Raiders, and he just refuses to accept you're supposed to be nothing in this league, and you're going to play for a shitty franchise. And he then goes on and tears up the league, respected by his peers.
I think his motor is unrivaled. Like he just, his engine just to break the game over and over again. Like he really is a great player. It's just a shame he's here.
Yeah, and you love, but he's the reason that you'd watch the Raiders. Respect, no disrespect to the rest of the Raiders. Like if I'm flicking through games and the Raiders are on, I was like, damn, what did Crosby do this week? Like he is kind of headline. Geno is, we said it last year. He is. If I catch Geno on a good week, then watch out. Geno is really, really good. But then if I catch Geno the rest of the time, then I don't know where the ball's going to go. And he seems to have caught the Raiders. He's playing for the Raiders so far. So, and with the Colts, you kind of know that you're going to get a 7 out of 10 performance. And that's going to be enough to beat the Raiders. And I think Pete Carroll has a job on his hands with the Raiders. If anyone's going to do it, it will be Pete Carroll, but I think it might take some time. He might not live long enough to actually see this job through. Like, so, he is in his 70s, and like, how long is it going to take to turn the Raiders around from the years of being the Raiders into a contender? Is it going to take 5 years plus? It might do. It might do, because Gino's not a long-term answer at quarterback. Ashton Genty, they did get him involved, and he did look really damn good last week. So
that big run.
yeah, there's that. Yeah, they're not that talented, the Raiders, especially on defense, and it's going to take a while. It's going to take probably a couple of drafts, and some more Pete Carroll rah-rah team meetings and just being around the guys to turn it around. And the Colts are just pretty stable franchise who just can't figure out the quarterback. I think I take the Colts.
Spread is 6.5
In Indy.
in Indy. 10 a.m. for the Raiders local time.
Yeah, I don't love it, Daniel Jones, but I'll take the Colts to cover.
I didn't like the way the Raiders played against the Commanders 2 weeks ago in a similar spot.
Yeah, terrible.
Like and the Chargers had it last week. They looked flat. So I'm almost by default taking the Colts because, like you said, you know what you're going to get with the Colts. They are a good team. And yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones, he just did a Daniel Jones thing at the end of the game. That was it. Like, the game was still there, still alive. Let me throw into double coverage instead of, kind of being a bit calmer than that. But as you said, I think this could be a monster day for Jonathan Taylor if the Raiders are going to tackle the way they did 2 weeks ago. Just do what the Cowboys did against the Packers with Micah Parsons. Run away from Max Crosby. If he's on the left, run to the right. Geno Smith. He's going to come good. I promise you, he will have a hot streak. Right now, he's in his cold streak. It's probably going to continue this week. I tell you one player I do like the look of, though. It's Tyler Warren. Like, he's almost got a bit of Kittle in him.
Yeah.
Just get the ball in his hands and he'll make something happen, and he's physical. So I think that's a really good pick. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out with him and Loveland with the Bears, because the Bears picked Loveland over Warren, which is interesting. But yeah, I'm taking the Colts. Big Jonathan Taylor day. Probably a bit of a bounce back for Daniel Jones. He will give you, like you said, 7 out of 10 this week, and that will be enough. God, blimey, these games, these are sticky games. Giants at the Saints. The spread is 1.5 in favor of the Saints. The Saints aren't that bad. They hung in there against the Bills, but I think that was more the Bills playing down to the Saints. The whole week it was, look at this 15.5 point spread. You've always got to be careful with those. And the Giants are coming off their first win. Their first win that came courtesy of Jackson Dart, who loves to run. And he can run the offense better than Russell Wilson. Clearly. The passing game came alive. Like, it wasn't explosive, but it was very methodical. Like, it was like 12 play drives that were successful. He can make the right reads, and he can throw over the middle, which Russell Wilson can't do, has never been able to be
No,
confident
never.
doing. So the offense looked a lot better. And given the injuries that the Chargers had to the offensive line, that defensive line came to life. Like Herbert was getting hit a lot,
Yeah.
under pressure a lot. And we've got Spencer Rattler with the Saints, who, what is he now? He's 0-10. Like, you almost feel bad for him at this point. Just give him a win, guys. Like, it's not all on him.
It's not.
Yeah, give him some support to get a win. Like, the way that Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo play, they need to be careful because they won't last long in this league. Jackson Dart got dinged up in the game and Russell Wilson came in. And yeah, like, he is a threat. Like, he's a dual threat. But just be careful. Maybe give yourself up a bit earlier. Don't look for contact. Obviously, Scatterboo can't do that. Like, he plays with that attitude. He's gonna, as I used to say with Debo, he's gonna lift your team up, like, just from the way that he plays. I'm gonna take the Giants. There could be a letdown this week, like after that high of winning a game last week, but I'm going to bank on that not happening. I think that Dart will probably have another good game here. Obviously, the loss of Neighbors is a huge loss. Like, that's huge attention gone. So, Darius Slayton, Wandale Robinson, but they've got a pretty good run game. And I think the front seven is very good. So give me the Giants. And by virtue of that, yeah, they cover.
I don't have a really strong opinion on this game, but looking into it, the Saints are pretty good at running the ball. Had a lot of success running the ball against the Bills. And the Giants are terrible at stopping the run. And the Saints O-line is pretty good. So they might be able to limit the Giants D-line. So on that basis, and also add in the rookie heading on the road, I don't like a rookie heading on the road in his second NFL start.
In the crazy Superdome.
It's going to be crazy in the Superdome. It doesn't really seem to matter what the team's record is. They will make it. They'll make it crazy there. Yeah, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to take the Saints to win a football game, but they haven't actually been. I know they were supposed to be the worst team in the NFL. They haven't actually been terrible. I mean, they hung around with the Bills for a while, and they were going on long drives. They were breaking off some big runs. Like, I think Spencer Rattler's been a little bit unlucky that he's just been in this situation. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Saints.
Wow. So you've taken the Saints and the Panthers. There's a double for you right there.
Not with confidence. I got to pick somebody. Somebody's got to go 5-11 this week. So that might be me, or that might be you. It might be genius picks.
It feels like a weird week. It really does. Like, and speaking of weird, the next game is the Cowboys at the Jets. Cowboys favored by 2.5. What do you make of this one, Paul?
I really have no clue how to read Jets. Like, you can watch a play and like, wow, Justin Fields, because he does that. The run for a touchdown on fourth down where he's under pressure and then he reverses field, like, wow, what a play. What a play. Like, Justin Fields is capable of being, if he just strings a few plays together, but he doesn't. and hasn't consistently in his NFL career so far. And the Jets are just the Jets. I mean, just what does Stephen A say about the Cowboys? What can go wrong? Usually, and it's the Jets. Like almost rewind year after year after year. Like something happens and penalties and turnovers and but then the Cowboys, right? So the Cowboys, like the defense is still not good. And I think the Cowboys are going to have a letdown after their they were up for that Packers game. They were up for the Micah Parsons Jerry Jones Bowl in Jerry World, and but they still couldn't stop anybody on defense. That's gonna be the Cowboys. And is CeeDee Lamb still out?
CeeDee Lamb's out for probably 2 more games.
Yes, I'm conflicted. I almost want to continue the crazy predictions I've made this week and take the Jets, but the Jets defense is not good. What's the over under? Give me the over under in this game. I think that could sail over whatever it is.
47.5. So they recognize that it could be high scoring.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not. It's not.
Not 50, but 48. You're thinking what 27-21.
Yeah, neither team's defense has showed anything so far this season. Anything. The Cowboys just were involved in an 80-point game. I mean, yeah, I think when you say 47, 47 seems fair to me. It seems fair. I'd be happy with that number to go over. Got to pick somebody. The Jets are cursed. 2 cursed franchises. So, and the game's in New York.
In New York, on that infamous turf.
Matters. I'll take the Jets. Let's continue the crazy. Why not? Let's take the Jets. But surely they can't have 13 penalties and the amount of turnovers. Cowboys defense is terrible. So I think Justin Fields is going to run. They can't pressure the quarterback. Therefore, Justin Fields is going to be able to take off. Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets. Won't say that a lot this year.
It's interesting because the Cowboys should have got blown out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
How they were leading at half time, I cannot believe it. But it's been typical of the Packers. I said it last week. The Packers play with their food. The Packers should be 4-0, but that's for another day. The Cowboys got back into that game and, they played pretty well. And thank you again to Dak Prescott for throwing that final touchdown to George Pickens for 4th and Gold's second highest win of all time. I really wanted to, I went into this one saying I'm going to pick the Jets, but one thing worries me about the Jets. Aaron Glenn was the defensive coordinator at the Lions, right? He earned the Jets job because of that performance. So why is he not calling the defense at the Jets? They've got Steve Wilkes, who, as you know, I am not fond of.
No.
I think that has to be a decision he makes in the near future. Because if this continues, I know we've been over the Jets before and how they've got all this talent on defense, but can they put it together? They should be better than this, though. They've shown that they're better than this. So if I'm Aaron Glenn, I'm thinking I'm going to have to make a decision soon if we keep giving up all these points. Because you earned this job because of your performance at the Lions. Don't just come over here and, you're now Dan Campbell. Like, do play to your strengths. The offense, though, the Cowboys' defense is really bad, but I'm just not sure the Jets have like the strengths to take advantage of it, because I feel like you can really torch this Cowboys defense.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? The second play of the game, Jordan Love just bombed it 40 yards, and there was two players literally wide open. Like, you're thinking, don't get in the way of each other. Like, that's how open they were.
Yeah.
And Jerry was so he had so much emphasis on stopping that run game. That's this is the week to do it, Jerry. Like, these are dangerous running weapons. Who's the running back for the Jets?
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, like, he had a pretty strong game last week. They needed it, between him and Fields scrambling, because the passing game is not great.
Well, it's Justin Fields, a quarterback. I mean, it's
Yeah.
We've seen this movie before. Like, he's not a prolific passer. He's a kind of a one read, deep ball passer. But the throw and the catch to Garrett Wilson late was spectacular.
Yeah.
That's Garrett Wilson. Like, he's
someone trade for him, please.
Get off the Jets, man.
Like, you've got paid. You've been paid now. Please, someone.
Hey, that's it. He's stuck on the Jets. And
dare I say it, Kansas City, give up something to get him, because that's. I think he's a real. I've said it before. I really like Garrett Wilson, just not in this offense.
No.
I'm gonna be boring. I'm gonna take the Cowboys. It's really those two things that stop me from taking the Jets. I don't think Fields can torch the Cowboys, even how bad this Cowboys defense is. And I don't like the fact that Steve Wilkes is running the defense for the Jets. If those two things change, no, really, just if that changes, if Aaron Glenn takes over the defense, I think the Jets can win more games. But as it stands, I say they go to 0-5.
Big picture. So, I mean, talking to you would be interesting about this. So, your guy Salah, he's back now, is he?
He is.
Yeah. So your guy Salah. So the Jets attempted to ruin his career, and now we've got another big name defensive coordinator coming into the Jets, and we're 4 games in, but he already looks like he's losing his mojo. Aaron Glenn, this early. Just wonder how many is it? Because it's not the guy. It wasn't with Salah. Salah, as we've seen, is he a head coach? We don't know. Because I don't think it's fair to say if somebody's a head coach after they have one gig and that one gig is the Jets. You have all that nonsense like he had to deal with the owner and Aaron Rodgers and all of that. So I hope that Aaron Glenn is given the opportunity and it doesn't upset him too much where he loses all of the confidence and what's got him to this point, because the Jets is a unique situation. So, I mean, I don't know. What would my question be to you about that would be like, yeah, the coach better than I do, Salah. So is it the coach or is it the team? Is it the Jets or was it that Salah was not a head coach at that moment?
I don't think that Salah is a head coach, but that Jets organization is cursed, as you said. I think I get the feeling the owner meddles a lot, and you hear some really strange things about how he listens to his like sons who are playing Madden. So I think there's a lot to overcome as the Jets head coach. But for Aaron Glenn, if at the end of this season we're talking about the defense not being good, that's not good. Like you need to take control of that. And
Yeah.
if
Well,
the offense sucks, then you know
yeah.
we kind of knew it was going to suck, but we're not expecting the defense to suck.
Yeah. Live or die by your own decisions, not by the decisions of somebody else.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't suit you, the structure, leave. Leave early. Quit. How often do you see these guys just go, no, this ain't for me?
Mm.
Like certain promises that were made to me at my interview are not materializing.
Yeah.
No, we
Yeah.
don't truly know. We only see the guys get fired at the end.
Yeah.
Obviously money is, they get paid up when they get fired. But yeah, it's just there seems to be quite a little bit of similarity between Salah and Glenn and
Mm.
where they've come from. So
And obviously, selfishly, I love the fact that Salah's back with the 49ers.
yeah, thank you, Jets. Yeah. Yeah.
And if the Dolphins want to do the same thing with Mike McDaniel, we'll welcome him back into the
He
fold as well.
a fantastic offensive coordinator. I still think he's a good head coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think certain franchises just have, uh, you know, the head coach is not the general. Anyway, we're going on to the Dolphins, but the head coach is not the general manager.
No.
He needs a good general manager.
Exactly. So we move on to the Broncos at the Eagles. The Eagles managed to dominate the Buccaneers for a half. And if I'm not mistaken, Jalen Hurts had 0 passing yards in the second half.
Yeah.
And they still win the game.
Yeah.
And it just speaks to this team. They are a quality roster, full of talent, but they're not maximizing it, in my opinion. And they are 4-0, which to me says they are a very, very dangerous team. But I said it after week 1. AJ Brown having 1 catch for 7 yards is not going to fly for long. And we're already seeing the problems now. Because once again, AJ Brown had 2 catches for 9 yards. He was targeted 7 or 8 times, though. So what's going on with the offense? Chris Sims said this week that he has spoken to people inside Philadelphia who say Jalen Hurts does not want to expand the passing offense. And that is now starting to boil over again with AJ Brown, who's putting cryptic stories on Instagram and Twitter and all that sort of stuff about not being heard. It's one of those, like, are they going to figure it out? They possibly will, like just running this same offense. I mean, Drew Brees said it last week. The Eagles, amazing team. I can't stand watching this offense. It's boring.
Yeah.
And it is. It's boring. It's effective most of the time. But we've now seen 2 games back to back where, like, those were really concerning halves. And then on the flip side, when it comes together, they're unstoppable. So I don't know where this goes. Like, history will tell you that they'll just keep winning because this is what they do. They go under the radar during the regular season somehow, knocking off 10 or 11 wins in a row. Yeah, they'll lose the odd one here or there, but it's not Lions style, like, oh, look at the Lions, 50 point, blowouts.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, methodically winning these games. Like, don't put any attention on us. We're just gonna, tiptoe our way through to a dominant season, and then we come alive in the playoffs. So that's probably what they're doing. Now, the Broncos had a layup last week,
Oh yeah.
so
The layup.
that helps.
Yeah.
That really helps going, the week before you're going into Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But you can't take anything from that game, really. I mean, they just terrorized Jake Browning. And I feel bad for Jake Browning because this offensive line is an embarrassment for the Bengals. There was one play in particular where it was kind of a disguise, like the Broncos crowded the line, and then it just turned out to be a zone play where they rushed three, and the Bengals were blocking six. So they had their offensive line, and then they had their running back. And both edge rushers got home. And like the rusher in the middle was being blocked by four people. So anyway, that's the Bengals. I think the Eagles win this game. Like I think the Broncos are starting to figure it out a bit, but they need more time. Like this is the type of game they could have done within like week 12. But yeah, it's just a case of I think this is just coming too early for Bo Nix and his crew. They're getting RJ Harvey involved in the passing game. He's getting touches at running back, but passing out the backfield, like we're starting to see that come to life now. And I quite like their receiving corps, just not against this Eagles secondary, who are very, very good on the whole. So the spread is -4. That is a dangerous spread with the Eagles. But I say they cover it. I say Eagles win inside one score. But I do think there's an underlying problem here with the passing game. And if people are sort of willingly giving that information out, and I don't think Chris Sims is a drama type of person, like I'll take that on face value that is the truth. That's a call for we want this to change. But I don't think it matters this week. Eagles win, Eagles cover.
The Eagles are going to lose one of these games, and I'm going to say they lose this one.
Ooh.
I think that it's now catching up with the Eagles. The losing your offensive coordinator again, because if you watch the Eagles, like the play calling is just is not it's there's nothing to it. There's absolutely nothing to it. This team are not. I mean, they're entertaining to watch because they've got like some very talented humans, but the play calling is extremely conservative to the point where, and last year it worked. Well, last year it was conservative, but then there was some wrinkles to it when that didn't work, when it was just, we're doing this until you can't stop us. And when you do stop us, then we can do something different. This year, it seems to have taken an even more conservative step back from that. So I think it's natural. Like they've lost another offensive coordinator, and now they've got this guy, and I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing so far from the Eagles on offense. And they're going up against another good defense. And, the Bucs made a lot of mistakes last week, which handed them the game. And the Rams made a lot of mistakes, which handed the Eagles the game. Are the Eagles the Chiefs from a couple of years ago? No, not a couple of years ago. Are the Eagles the Chiefs from last year? From
just trying to grind their way through.
Yeah, and I get it. You don't win the Super Bowl in September, October, but you've got to have a second gear. You've got to There's got to be something else. And even when they do seem to like get away from it, oh, we just throw it up to AJ Brown. There's
It's not enough.
and Saquon's not the guy from last year. It's not, but then he's not being. Is that the play caller or is that I don't know? And Lane Johnson's not apparently not going to play this week.
See, I think with Saquon, it's because the passing game is so simple that, yeah, like teams are always going to be scared of those guys on the outside, but they know we can't get beaten by Saquon. I
Yeah,
think if the passing game was more prolific, suddenly that will open up Saquon.
yeah, and I don't want to have my preseason biases too much weighing into game picks in week 5, but I like Denver and they've been involved in a couple of games that maybe they should have won. And they kind of need to win one of these games that maybe they're not supposed to win
Mm.
to hang around with the Chargers and the Chiefs. This is a good division except for the Raiders. So I think the Broncos are a good team. I think the Eagles are just getting things together. And I don't know if I think it's going to be a slower process with the Eagles because I don't like the offensive coordinator. They don't seem to have like a change of gear, the Eagles. Like before they used to go, oh, okay, well now we'll stop like messing about. Or and there doesn't seem to be the devastating plays that there was last year with Saquon or AJ Brown. Well, there was a bit in the second half of the Rams game, but
But it's a lot of like go routes and it's just go routes, comebacks, and slants. Like it's the most elementary offense that you could have.
yeah, and the Broncos I think match up well with the Eagles because the Broncos can shut you down outside, so the Broncos can actually
Mm.
match up with the Eagles receivers to make them go, okay, well then you're going to have to beat us running the ball, and the Broncos defense is pretty good. So yeah, just a gut feel. I think the Broncos match up well with the Eagles, and I'm not impressed with the Eagles and the play calling. So I think they're going to lose one of these games, and I think it could be this week. So I'll take the Broncos.
Okay. And just one last thought. It came to me on Sunday. Like, I feel like with Jalen Hurts, this is like a repeat of like 2013 Russell Wilson, where like they can go the whole game doing nothing
Yeah,
and then come to life for a couple of drives. And suddenly it's like, I remember like it's like the same sort of themes with Russell Wilson at the time. Russell Wilson's a top 5 quarterback. You know, he's a winner. But it's like, look at the two situations. They're afforded that because of the team that's around them. If Josh Allen throws for 0 passing yards in a half, what do you think the score's going to be? It's not going to be pretty, you
no,
know, in Buffalo. So, like, I mean, it was quite interesting on Thursday night last week. Richard Sherman was talking about Russell Wilson and how, yeah, like he was this all-time winner, like highest winning percentage. But you take Legion of Boom away, you take Beast Mode, the #1 rushing game away. He hasn't looked very good. So
Sherman hates Wilson though. That
Sherman hates Wilson.
that is well advertised. Sherman is not, and there are many of them who are not Wilson fans, but Sherman is one of the loudest voices.
The leader of the group. But I say that because Philadelphia just need to be careful with this AJ Brown situation because you don't want a situation where he's gone or he reaches a point of frustration where he wants out. Like you need him and you need Devonta Smith because if those guys go, this offense will fall apart, I think.
Don't worry about Philadelphia defending Super Bowl champions with the best general manager in the NFL. They'll be fine. If they have to make a decision with AJ Brown, they'll be fine. and they'll get the most possible value that is attainable from that trade. They'll be. Don't worry about the Eagles. Worry about the teams that we just finished talking about and teams we might go on to talk about. Worry about the Niners, for goodness sake. Worry about the Panthers and the Dolphins.
I'm just saying,
Eagles,
if it's a choice of I get to keep 34 million AJ Brown, or maybe we don't need to be paying our quarterback 55 million a year. I'd rather maybe look elsewhere at quarterback.
maybe go and get a better offensive coordinator. Might help.
But does the quarterback want that? Because that's what it sounds like, from what Sims is being told, that they basically just brought in like an obligatory offensive coordinator. Yeah, oh yeah, we love you. Yeah, we're running this offense. So, stick to the plan.
Okay. Interesting.
But we'll see. In a few weeks.
Come from that decision has come from the owner, the head coach.
I think the head coach and the quarterback together. Like, I don't think it's just Jalen Hurts saying, "Well, I'm running this offense and that's that." I think Sirianni is on board with it. Like, I think he's like,
you can't question. Well, you can, obviously. That's the business. But Sirianni is, one of the highest winning percentage head coaches in NFL history through the amount of games that he is through.
He's number one.
So,
he's number one.
Can it be questioned? Yeah, it can be questioned, and it's human nature for us to pick holes in the Chiefs now, like we were picking holes in the Eagles now, and like we were picking holes in the Chiefs last year. But they're still winning games, and we'll wait and see what happens in January. Because
this is a different situation from the Chiefs. Like, they've got a great team, and they can figure it out. This isn't like the Chiefs with Juju Smith-Schuster and Kareem Hunt, and they can fix this.
Of course. But just watch. I'm interested to just see. Well, I'm not interested to see a lot of Eagles games just because of how drab a lot of it is. But to see what's the play calling, is that at least changing up a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. Another strange game. The 0-4 Titans at the 2-2 Cardinals? The Cardinals have lost back-to-back against the Niners and the Seahawks. Over to you.
I haven't watched a lot of either of these teams. Just be honest, like Cam Ward, obviously still without a win. Titans have not got a lot of talent. It's going to take a while. Head coach, from what I'm hearing, head coach is going to get fired soon because it's not going well. He doesn't seem to be putting his rookie quarterback in good situations, and play calling doesn't seem to be very good. And he's an offensive guy. The Cardinals are just hang around, don't they? They're just always there. This is not a game that I'll be watching in great detail, but Kyler Murray's just inconsistent. And what did we say? What did I say pre-season? Cardinals under 8.5 wins. I absolutely love it because it was.
Wow, it's that high, or it was that high.
Yeah, wow. Spread. So the over/under, and it was even money. So I absolutely loved it. Under 8.5 wins, 8 and 9 is a winning bet, and that's just about where the Cardinals are going to be, if not worse.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison is. Well, I know Neighbors went down, but Marvin Harrison has not had the start to his NFL career that he showed that he was capable of at Ohio State. And both these teams just don't have a load of talent. They don't. The Cardinals are still in a rebuild, but are they really rebuilding? Because Kyler Murray's the ultimate of streaky quarterbacks. He's the ultimate. Like, if you're unlucky enough to catch Kyler Murray on a going day, then good luck. Good luck stopping the Cardinals. Um, I don't know. You can pick these teams. You can pick the Cardinals on a week-to-week basis and go, what? How does Kyler feel when he wakes up on that day? And on that basis, where's the game?
In Arizona.
So on that base, just on that pure basis, I'm going to pick the Cardinals because he's waking up at home, or he's waking up in a hotel which is close enough to his home to feel comfortable. So I'd say that Kyler feels good at home, and I say that the Cardinals win this game.
Spread is 7.5.
Yes, but that's because of the Titans. That's not because of the Cardinals and who they are. That's because of the Titans.
I will not be touching this game.
No.
I'm not going to add much other than, like, your point was spot on. They are so streaky, and last week showed it. They got completely outplayed for like 3.5 quarters, and then it clicked for like 7 minutes. Marvin Harrison making big plays, defense getting stops, and the game was tied. And then the kicker didn't kick it far enough, and the Seahawks started at the 40-yard line.
What the hell was that? Just
You got one job.
You'll get me upset talking about the kickoffs because so the kickoffs now, so the touchback is to the 35 now.
So there's levels to it. If you kick the ball inside the 20 and then it bounces through, the team that receives the ball starts at the 20. But if you just kick it into the end zone without it touching the ground, it's the 30-yard line. If you're out of bounds or you're short, you start at the 40.
It's just a lot easier, you people are talking it. I agree. Like, we're going to see a 70-yard field goal soon.
And they're starting at the 30.
Yeah. So that's what you've got to go. You've got to go half what you used to be able to. You used to have to go 40 yards. So if you tie the game late, it's really hard to stop the other team. If you give hardly any time on the clock, like, that kicker's going to have a chance to win the game. And heaven forbid you make a mistake on the kickoff like the Cardinals did, because then you're definitely gonna have a chance to lose the game late.
There wasn't a lot of time left, and starting at the 40, that hurt them. That killed it.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how the NFL. I didn't love it when they. Well, I do like the thought process of making. I know they had to do something to make the kickoff a play again, to make a kickoff return like an actual play. So I know they had to reward the return in some way, but to have the touchback at the 35, I mean, how much of the field? Like, there's 35 yards. There's, I don't get it. I know. Well, I know exactly why they're doing it.
They want points. Yeah.
They want more points. They want games to be crazy, but
I want yards. I love yards for my props.
Yeah.
I want to start from the 20.
I love yards, but also I want to see defense. I want to see defense to be a challenge for the offense.
You got to earn it. Like, it's not the same as it was.
Yeah, we get the ball with a minute left, guaranteed. I mean, you have those freaks like the Mahomes 13 seconds stuff, but you've got to you've got to be able to earn the right to win a football game instead of if you have a touchback late.
One throw.
Yeah, one completion now, and we're kicking to win the game.
Yeah,
I don't love it.
I don't love that. I agree. Next up, this is one of the games of the week. The Buccaneers going into Seattle. The spread is 3.5 in favor of the Seahawks. The Bucks made a lot of mistakes in that game. They could have won that game.
Yep.
If Baker doesn't throw that pick at that time, they very well tie the game and win the game, I think. I'm still high on the Bucks. They just made some mistakes. How can you plan for a blocked punt at the start of the game that gets returned for 6? It's just one of those that happened, unfortunately. The Seahawks they were very good against the Cardinals. Their offense has started to, it's a work in progress, but it's coming to life. And I do like the way Darnold's playing. And last week, they did it really without Jackson Smith and Jigba until the clutch. Then they called his number. Then he made big plays. They got Kenneth Walker going, kind of like both on the ground and in the pass catching game a little bit. He's explosive. I know you've been a big fan of his.
Yeah.
Can they get him going this week against the Bucks? I think they're going to have to watch the film from the Falcons game, because Bijan had, 20 yards rushing in that game, but he had 90 receiving. The Falcons knew going into that game, it's going to be tough to run on the Buccaneers. So they came up with a different way to do it. I think the Seahawks will need to do that with their running backs this week, because, as I said, the Vita Vea led, Bucks front seven, they've got a reputation for stopping the run. This is a tough place to go, but Baker's tough. And I think Baker's, if Baker's who we think he is, he's going to be ultra motivated to get it right this week. I like this game. I might watch this game because I fancy a shootout. I fancy an explosive shootout. And it might be one of those where whoever gets the ball last wins. But I think this is another Buccaneers close win. So, yeah, they're the underdogs, sort of, because it's 3.5 in favor of the home team. I'm going to roll with the Bucks to win this game. But the Seahawks will give them everything they've got. And I wouldn't be confident putting money on the game, but as kind of the theme of the day, you have to pick someone. So I'm going to lean to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, this is my game of the week. I love this game because these are two very interesting NFC teams for me. I really like the Bucks heading into the season. I still like the Bucks at this point. And the Seahawks have surprised me a little. I did think they were going to be good. I didn't think they were going to be this good so far. I didn't think they were going to be so good yet. I think they're a little bit ahead of where I thought they would be to this point. Because I'm encouraged with a lot of what I see from Seattle. Like they don't blitz a lot, but then they make life very difficult for the opposing quarterback. And they've got a lot of speed on defense. They're very well coached. They don't seem to make a lot of mistakes. The offense is ahead of where I thought it would be. Kenneth Walker, I love him. I think he's a stud. I think, yeah, you're spot on. They should get him involved in the receiving game. That's the way to take the strength of the Bucks out of this. You don't run up the middle on the Bucks. Hardest, they're always up towards the top of the league in run defense. I think this is tough for the Bucks. Cross country. And just Baker, because I've taken quite a close interest in Baker's career. Baker struggles against teams who play coverage and pressure him but don't blitz him. If you blitz him, then he gets out of it. And that's exactly what the Seahawks do. Is they kind of generally send four, generally just have base defense, send four, and play coverage. And their cover guys are good. The secondary's good with the Seahawks. That's how you confuse Baker. Pressuring him, but not sending the house. Yeah, I think this is a bad matchup for the Bucs. And it's going to be crazy there. It's going to be a game that I watch. I'm really interested in this game. And I'm going to take Seattle to defend home field. But these are two teams that I'm fascinated to see how they progress. They're interesting teams to me. Like I'm interested to see how the Bucs progress and the Seahawks progress. I'm not, don't hate, but I'm not that interested in how the Eagles progress. I know there's going to be some changes, but it's not going to be dramatic on a week-to-week basis. These teams to me are just interesting. The Bucs are involved in a lot of really competitive games. I like the players. I like the play callers. I like the individuals on the Bucs and the Seahawks. Yeah, the Seahawks have got to be delighted to this point with the Sam Darnold and the decision that they made to this point. But what a gamble that they took, and they didn't. Then they're not paying them a great deal of money.
It's a 1 year commitment.
Yeah, and the Seahawks, like from where they were a couple of years ago, O line, D line, the decisions that they've made in the draft, they've progressed massively from a couple of years ago, Seattle. So I would hate to have them in my division.
I'm sure glad we played them in week 1.
Yeah. Yeah, and how Seattle have improved since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we were playing them this week, it's a no-brainer who wins the game.
And you went into Seattle in week 1. Yeah. That's a great to tick off our schedule. Yes, we've gone into Seattle.
Exactly. Okay. Maybe not such a competitive game coming up. We've got Lions at Bengals. Over to you.
Yeah. So the Lions against the Browns was actually close until the Browns turned the ball over a lot late. So the Bengals are 10.5-point dogs at home. Wow. But yeah, the Bengals O line is just in complete chaos.
It's embarrassing.
It's complete disaster.
Like I feel like I was a bit harsh on Jake Browning last week. The offensive line is ridiculous.
Yeah, and so their whole offense is just ruined because they can't get the ball to Chase, and obviously they can't run the ball, and they paid all this money for receivers who cannot affect the game now, and yeah, it's just a total mess. But it's a lot of points, and they're at home. It's a lot of points. I don't know.
49.5. That feels way too high.
Oh, if I was talking the spread, I think the spread's a lot. Spread's a lot. I think you've got to say that the Bengals can have some kind of reaction. I mean, Denver's a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup for a lot of teams, but when your O-line's that bad, Denver's not a great place to play. On the road at Denver.
It's one of those. It's like Denver's defense obviously did a number on the Bengals, but the Lions' offense is levels above the Broncos. So it's, I guess Vegas is saying they're scared that this could be like a Lions 50 burger, even if it's like 50-28.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as high. I get it from like little hints that you've been leaving in certain other games that you're I'm predicting that you're higher on the Lions than I am at this point because I'm more looking at who the Lions have played and what we have discovered so far to this point those defenses are. So as in the Browns hung around with them until they turned the ball over late. So the Browns defense limited the Lions to an extent.
Yeah.
Week one, yeah, it's week one, but the Packers limited the Lions a lot.
The score flattered the Lions.
Yeah.
Like it should have been like Packers 40 something, in my opinion.
And then they played a very good game against the Ravens, but then the Ravens defense is not good so far. So I don't think the Lions are there yet. But I can't take the Bengals. Obviously, I can't. I'm just thinking about the spread. Obviously, I can't take the Bengals. But it's great. It's a crazy week. I'll take the Bengals to cover and the Lions win the game.
Okay. As you said, it's about who they've played. Well, who are they playing this week in the Bengals defense? This is like that type of game, I think. I think this is that type of the game that the Lions kind of like lick their lips at. Like, we could put up a massive number here. And their defensive line will give this offensive line problems, like big problems, if last week's anything to go by. So I think Lions cover. I think it will go over. And I think the Lions, they could put up a 50 burger in this game. It could be one of those. So it's just so hard because Jake Browning is definitely a number of levels below Joe Burrow. And then you compound it with this awful offensive line play. He's got no chance. Like it's not even fair to criticize him really. He got the ball on Monday night and all right, I'm not just going to throw it up in a 50-50 between Chase and Satan. Oh, I've been sacked. So my criticism of him I take back a bit because this offensive line is awful. And I think it will be awful again. So yeah, Lions win, Lions cover. The last of the 9 o'clock window for us, I think this is probably the second best game of the week. Now that we know a certain quarterback is going to at least play, let's see if he's healthy. Commanders at the Chargers. So the Commanders without Jaden Daniels were able to go 1-1. I would take that. I'd be happy with that. They struggled last week against, fair enough, like a Falcons team that kind of bounced back. I think that we probably got scared off because of the Panthers game, but the matchup was pretty favorable for that offense. Mariota didn't do that badly, I suppose, but they didn't have McLaurin, which was a big factor, and they might not have him again this week.
Yeah.
And the fact that Deebo Samuel is also on the injury report this week is a concern because without McLaurin, Deebo's been the go-to. And he's on the injury report. And their third option, Zach Ertz, is on the injury report. So kind of like what we were talking about earlier, this is another team that has been hit by the injury bug early. But so have the Chargers. The Chargers lost their left tackle, before the season started. Joe Alt moves to left tackle and gets banged up last week. I think it's an ankle injury. Mekhi Becton, the guard, is on the injury report this week. So it's, Herbert's going to be a bit exposed, I think, in this game again.
Our ball coach team, and what do they want to do?
They want to pound the rock, yeah. And Amari and Hampton, was one of the rare bright spots in that game last week. He broke off like a 50-yard run.
And Najee's down too.
Najee's down too. And I cannot believe this transformation of Quentin Johnston.
Yeah.
Who, I'll be honest, I just assumed, oh, well, he's a first-round bust. But I guess not with Jim Harbaugh.
5th in the league in yards.
Wow. It's amazing because it has the passing game has become so Johnston-centric that it's kind of taken McConkey out a bit. Like,
Ledidi is not the guy anymore.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And like really, Keenan Allen's been more productive than McConkey.
Yeah.
I haven't watched enough film to say whether McConkey's getting any special treatment. I don't think so on first glance. I just think that Johnston has come to life. And
like you knew that when he was getting drafted. He's a great athlete to get drafted that high. It just sometimes takes a while. And you said it before, like with Jim Harbaugh, like you're my guy. Like I've got faith in you. Sometimes it's play calling as well. This guy's talented to not. Let's give him some confidence. Let's get him involved. Let's give him tell him how great he is. He's drafted. It's a high draft pick. It's maybe a broader problem in the NFL of like giving up on guys too early.
Yes.
You'll get me started on like quarterbacks and how we're out on a quarterback after like 5 seconds. But yeah.
It's a great story. It's another great story.
Let's relax. Let's see if he, takes them to the promised land. But
yeah, absolutely.
He's at least he's not like out of the league already.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that couldn't catch the ball at one point. Like, ball hitting both hands drop. So the confidence at least is back. They definitely have to figure this out though, because it's like whoa, we're like McConkey centric. Whoa, now we're Johnston centric. Like, there's time to figure this out. I'm encouraged though. Like, I think they've got a lot of weapons, and I just think last week they looked flat. I watched most of the game. They look flat. And no excuses, but it feels like it probably was a bit of we're playing at 10 a.m. local time, like first. So now they're at home. Like, personally, neutrally, I really hope that Zach Ertz, Debo, and Scary Terry make it, because I think this could be a great game. But McLaurin is a quad, and Debo it's his heel.
McLaurin's out, is what I've heard. He's out. Debo's a question, but McLaurin's not going to play.
Just on health, I am going to by default pick the Chargers. They're at home. We don't really know how healthy Daniels is as well. So that's a scary pick for me. And I'm not saying this is a blowout. Like, if Daniels is a go, I expect him to, be Daniels. But without Scary Terry, that hurts. And a banged up Debo might not make it through the game. So I'm going to lean on the side of, okay, the Chargers will have a problem in protection. But it's quite an old Commanders front. So I think Herbert can navigate that this week. I'll take the Chargers. The spread is 3. And what have we seen with the Chargers? That's the kind of team they are. They win by 3.
I want to disagree with you on every single game this week. So on that basis, I have to pick the Commanders. But I can't, because I haven't seen Daniels play coming back. The injury wasn't significant. He only missed 2 weeks.
Missed 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the original injury?
I think it was a knee. But it's the fact that Scary Terry's not there as well. That really
Yeah, I
hurts.
don't love that. Like, so a kind of a minor, so a PCL, like kind of a couple of weeks, and he's coming back, so he might still be feeling it. I don't love it, and I don't think the commanders don't have the guys to expose the Chargers O line problems like the Giants did, and it's there's going to be no body clocking issues. If Jaden Daniels was healthy, this is a game. If both rosters were fully healthy,
This
I'd
is a great game.
take the Commanders. I would,
Yeah.
I would, but they're not, and on that basis, I'm going to take the Chargers. I don't love it though.
No, no. This, you know, if we don't know, Jaden Daniels might come out and be Jaden Daniels, and with or without Scary Terry, that will make the game good.
I'm higher on the Commanders moving forward than I am the Chargers, but then I'm not as high on the Chargers as what you are. But yeah, on this week, I have the picks, so I'll take the Chargers.
More on health, yeah. Okay, Sunday night football. Here we go. It is the Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. I'll let you take this one.
Bills are banged up. Bills have got injuries on defense. Bills couldn't stop the Saints. That's a concern. Can't stop the run. Nobody's small in the NFL, but relative to the rest of the NFL, the Buffalo Bills front seven is smaller than the average. The Saints run the ball. The Patriots are not good at running the ball. So the Patriots can't expose the weakness of the Bills as much as what the Saints did last week. I'm not high on the Patriots at all, but taking bias and preseason thoughts out of the equation, Drake May is not, I see stupid, sorry, not to say stupid, misguided taglines and stories on social media about Drake. Did you see Drake May? He's top 10 and he's this and he's this. It's, just pay attention and watch the games, man. Come on, just let's relax. Yeah, I still don't buy it with the Patriots. I think the Bills will win. I think the Bills will be involved in a close game again.
Yeah, because spread's 8.
Yeah,
Don't like that.
yeah, the Saints were around for a long, long time in that game. And that spread was 15 and a half, 16. Stupid. Crazy, crazy spread. Yeah, the Bills just need to be healthy heading into the playoffs. Because is the division done? Is this the AFC East championship game? I think it could be.
Well, it might be for the Patriots, not the. Well, I see what your point.
Yeah,
if the Bills win, this over.
So it's done. It's done the first week of October. We called it pre-season, but the Patriots have already lost a couple of games, and the Bills would then be 5-0, and the Patriots would be 2-3
with the head-to-head.
Yeah, we'll call it because the Jets at best going to be 1-4, and the Dolphins are at best going to be
2-3.
2-3, and the Bills have already beaten the Dolphins, and then now the Patriots. And yeah, the Bills will. I'll say that the Bills win this game. I wouldn't touch the spread because Buffalo's involved in close games.
Yep.
And Patriots fans just relax and just Drake May is not the next Tom Brady.
So as I referred to last week, it is the Bills against, as Haley Steinfeld said, one of the Bills' sons. I just think that like it's one of those games where like we know the limitations of the Bills, like you said. They are in NFL terms a smaller front seven. They can get bullied, they can get pushed around. but the Patriots don't have the run game, well, at least yet, to take advantage of that. And Drake
Well,
May went
your
in.
guy, no, you're high. I'm sure you're a lot higher on this guy than me,
Well,
Andre.
like,
Not from Andre, no.
no, like I'm higher on their guy Travion Henderson.
Yeah,
Like, you get him involved. They went in, like, Drake May went into Buffalo last year and gave Buffalo a scare. Like, they were winning that game for a long time, but I just don't see it. I think that, like, Josh Allen's a funny one because on the face of it, like, he's a very, like, nice guy, like, someone you can root for. But he's got a streak inside him, and I bet you, like, all off season, he's hearing the Patriots have won the off season. The Patriots are going to win the AFC East. I think this is going to be one of those Josh Allen kind of special games where he just goes off on them and says, "You are my son." So, you know, not much more to say about it. I think that the Bills will win. 8's too much for me. I think Josh Allen will go off. That doesn't necessarily mean that the rest of the team will. So Bills win comfortably, but I'm going to say they don't cover the spread of 8.
yeah, spot on. That's exactly what I think with this game.
And so that just leaves us with a very fascinating Monday night football game. The Chiefs at the Jaguars. Now, the Jaguars played a clean. What did I say last week? Can they play a clean game? They did. The 49ers turned it over 4 times. Not only that, Kendrick Bourne had a wide open drop on 3rd down where the 49ers then punted the ball and it was returned for a touchdown.
Yeah.
They also had 2 4th downs that were not converted. So really and truly, 4 official turnovers, 7 unofficial turnovers in total. The Jags won by 5. So I think it was more the 49ers blowing that game than the Jaguars winning it.
Yeah.
And so going into this game against the Chiefs don't make that many mistakes. It might not look great, but they're not going to beat themselves the way the 49ers beat themselves last week. And like Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. they found their connection again last week. But Trevor Lawrence still makes these mental errors. Like late in the game, when they're about to ice the game, he runs out of bounds or he slides out of bounds. And, it's just those little errors. Like, we got the ball again. Now, Eric Armstead made a great play to force the fumble and, end the game pretty much there and then. But those are the types of things that if he does that on Monday night and you give 15 the ball one more time, he's going to punish you. So this is a tricky one because the Jags, on paper at least, weapon-wise, they are probably more talented. Like, if you put the 2 offensive weapons together, I would choose the Jaguars because Brian Thomas Jr., I love. Travis Hunter, we don't know what he is yet. So, it's exciting to see how that develops. And of course, this 2-headed monster at running back. You got Travis Etienne, who has just refound himself. Like, I really did, and you know this because I said it, I really sided with him over Pedersen last year. I didn't understand it. But Cohen's found another running back in Tootin. And I'm telling you, this guy is explosive. And, he is going to really give teams problems, as he has already had. But it's the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, they looked good against a bad Ravens defense. So I'm not buying into it yet. It obviously helps to have Worthy back. And it will help when they get Rice back. Everything's telling me to take the Jaguars, if I'm being honest, but I just can't trust Trevor Lawrence. I can't because of the mental errors. So I'm gonna take the Chiefs, even though I think the Jags have a great chance and their defense is playing really well. But Trevor Lawrence, he just scares me still. And I've been a big defender of his. He's even got me kind of scared now. So I'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, this is a weird game because the Jags have almost played un-Jags like football to this point. Like they haven't really made a lot of mistakes. They seem to be quite well coached. That 49ers game last week, sorry to remind you, was just crazy. Like they scored 26 points, but then 17 of them were off turnovers or special teams, and so their offense seems to either be an ETN like huge play. So even the ETN run for a touchdown was straight off a fumble, and then the first play from scrimmage. So so at least last week and most of the rest of the season, Trevor Lawrence is not doing a great deal. It's the running game and special teams. I mean, I remember, the punt returner. The punt returner did it earlier in the season as well.
Mm.
He looks explosive. Just kick the. I was almost shouting at the screen when the 49ers kicked the punt.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Even me, I don't watch hardly any Jacksonville football. Like I know this guy can run. Kick the ball out of bounds, or at least kick it towards the touchline, towards the sideline.
Is it Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah.
11. Yeah, there's no penalty like on the kickoff for kicking it out of bounds. Don't give the. Yeah, maybe word hasn't got around the league, or maybe your punter just can't direct a kick. I don't know. But anyway, so the Jags. Yeah, it's very strange because it's very un-Jacksonville to this point in the season. They're not really making mistakes.
Apart from the quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't think the quarterback's any good. And then the Chiefs on the other side, I think the quarterback is good, but I don't think the rest of the roster is all that good. And I don't give too much credit to them beating the Ravens because of the Ravens defense. I don't know. This is a weird game to pick because they're two teams that are quite similar in some ways, which is weird to say that about Jacksonville and Kansas City, but I don't know.
I like the Jags defense. I'll tell you that they've transformed.
Well, it's about time they have because
Yeah.
drafting high that often, then eventually your defense should be good. Eventually, these guys should all click. I'm going to take the Jaguars because Chiefs can't run the ball. Chiefs have problems in the offensive line. I think the Jags will get after Mahomes. I agree with you about the Jags defense. And they're not asking Trevor Lawrence to do a lot. And that seems to be the formula for Jacksonville. Kansas City can't, except against the Ravens defense, they can't be explosive and score a lot of points. So I'm gonna say it's crazy. I'm gonna say that Jacksonville win a game against Kansas City and that they continue the formula of not making a lot of mistakes.
Sounds the crazy thing is, I don't think it's that crazy. I was leaning there, but yeah, just Lawrence scares me.
Yeah, but he's not the game for them anymore.
Yeah, if they get these running backs in space, they will take every yard that is offered to them.
Yeah. And just don't kick the ball to this punt returner. He's pretty good.
All credit to Cohen, like especially with this offense. Like I've been saying it for a few weeks. I like the play calling. Like it, a lot of the time when Lawrence is throwing it, he is throwing to wide open guys, or you know, it's a check down to Tootin or ETN, and they're in a one-on-one situation. Well, who do you think's going to win? The crazy explosive running back, or the outside linebacker who's just on an island? Like they're doing well. They are doing well.
Yeah.
So that is the roundup of our games. So, as usual, the week 5 who is going off draft. I would like to kick off and simply say Jonathan Taylor against the Raiders, who are playing at 10 a.m. local time. They couldn't tackle the Commanders. If they play like that against this guy, who is just on a tear at the moment, I think he's going to have a crazy big game. He's already been having 150 scrimmage yard types of games. I say he breaks a 50-yarder in this one. Jonathan Taylor.
When we were talking through the games, I I like the idea of this, and I think this is going to happen. I think Josh Allen's going to have one of his games against the Patriots. I think he's going to just, take the game on his back. He, in recent games, owns the Patriots. And yeah, I think it's going to be one of the games where he's heavily involved, not just with his arm, but with his legs. Yeah, I think he's going to love the idea of sticking it to the Patriots and Drake May, who's a pretender to the crown.
That was going to be my second pick. That's a great pick. Okay. The Bengals defense kind of sucks.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with the hot hand and say Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I can't remember the numbers that he's tracking towards, but he's gone off so far, and that's including a slower day against the Browns. He ended up he ended up covering last week. The Bengals, I don't like this team. The Lions offense are going to have the ball a lot, I think, and I could have gone with Gibbs, who will probably also go off, but I say Amon-Ra St. Brown will have some big plays in this game.
I'm going to say Alvin Kamara is going to have a big
Ooh.
against the Giants' run defense. Yeah, they're not good at stopping the run, and the Saints run the ball a lot, as we saw last week against the Bills. They're very aggressive, the Giants' defense. They want to get after the quarterback. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be great at stopping the run, and we've seen that through the start of this season. So yeah, give me Alvin Kamara.
Interesting. Okay. Could go two ways here. Hmm. Okay. I am going to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba, because as good as the Bucks front seven is, I don't think they're necessarily great in the back end. And Darnold can sling it. This is going to be a shootout, I think, between two former ex-Panthers quarterbacks, may I just add. And who is the number one in Seattle? It is Jackson Smith and Jigba. He had a quieter start to the game last week. I think they'll get involved early. And yeah, I think he will go over.
Um, Eagles are playing who? The Broncos? No. Uh, Give me another couple of games. I'm just thinking them over in my head. Nothing jumps out.
Not great games, but Panthers, Dolphins, Cowboys, Jets, Cardinals, Titans. You do have Lions, Bengals still.
I'll keep it really simple and I'll say that George Pickens continues and has another big game against the Jets defense. Everybody's having a big game against the Jets defense so far this year. I think Sauce Gardner is massively overrated and massively overpaid in the Jets. That's a topic for another day. But for this day, I say George Pickens without CeeDee Lamb has another big game.
Yeah, definitely. And so that leaves us with best bets. We haven't hit 4 for 4 yet. We've got close. Maybe this weird week of games could be the week. So I'll let you start off, Paul.
Jets, Cowboys, over. It was a shock to me. It was not in the 50s. It's 47.
47 and a half.
47 and a half. Give me 47 and a half. The Cowboys are just involved in an 80-point game. The Jets defense cannot stop anybody. I think Justin Fields is going to be feeling himself and think he's a great quarterback after playing the Cowboys defense. Yeah, Jets, Cowboys over.
Love it. Love it. I'll keep it simple. Give me Lions to cover the 10 and a half against the Bengals. I just don't think the Bengals are very good in any area, but most specifically, that offensive line will give Jake Browning no chance. And if the Lions are going to have the ball for most of the game, I think they could put up massive points in this game.
Just trying to think of a second that I love. Give me a couple more spreads.
So you got Chargers -3,
No,
Eagles -4,
no.
Colts 6.5 at home to the Raiders.
I do like that. Don't love it, but I do like that.
Your pick, the Cleveland Browns, are +3.5 against the
I
Vikings.
like it, but again, I don't love it because of the rookie.
Texans 2.5 favorites at the Ravens.
No, too much on both teams have been.
Saints 1.5.
No, I'll go with something I think is a little bit more predictable. I will take the Colts to beat the Raiders by a touchdown at home. The Colts are a steady team, and the Raiders are a crazy team. And the Colts are at home, and the Raiders are playing on a 10 a.m. body clock game. We saw how this movie went when they traveled cross country to play the Commanders. So I say the Colts cover and beat the Raiders by more than a touchdown.
Yep, and Gino's in a cold, and he's in one of his cold streaks at the moment. Okay, to round it out,
But he hasn't snapped out of it. Gino before
that's what I'm saying.
in the Seattle game, in the Seattle days, it was never this long. I know it's only 4 weeks, but it was never this long. It was
Yeah,
games and he snap out, but now it's 4. Like Gino, have you caught like the Raiders disease?
exactly.
I'm worried for Gino a little bit. Be honest, I've never seen a 4-game streak since he left the Jets. With the Seahawks, he never had this long a streak of just being a shit quarterback.
The picks he's thrown, you're like, wow, is this New York Jets Geno Smith? Because
Put on the Raiders helmet.
I don't recognize this guy. Yeah, to round out, give me the Bucks +3.5. If they lose, I kind of fancy it being just on a field goal.
Mm.
I did pick them to win, but I just think 3.5, that's a safe cover for me. So, Paul, we have the final part, as always, the wheel spin bet builder. We're going to hit one of these. I believe it. So let's see what we're going to get. Yellow, you got your wish. It is Jets Cowboys.
Okay. Can we use the same? Can I use my over? Can we use my over?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the starter. So over 47.5.
Love it. Love it. Pickens.
So Pickens, his over is 72.5.
Yeah, love that.
Love that.
I think that's low.
Give me Justin Fields rushing over 49.5. He runs a lot, and I like it in this game.
All right. Well, there you go. Garrett Wilson, anytime touchdown.
Ooh, okay.
I
The
think
only other person, and I'm basing it off of just Monday's game because I haven't watched Jets games, but because Garrett Wilson was getting the attention, they were throwing it underneath to their tight end Mason Taylor a lot.
okay.
His number is 32.5.
Can we do Garrett Wilson receiving yards and Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown?
We can.
Let's do that.
Garrett Wilson 64.5. Fields can throw a deep ball, so
Yeah.
it's like one of those. Do you do what Russell Wilson did and just let it fly? Because the Cowboys have struggled a bit when that happens.
Yeah, let's do that. I think that it's playing against the Cowboys.
Yeah. So that gives us over 47.5 points. George Pickens over 72.5 receiving yards. Justin Fields over 49.5 rushing yards. Garrett Wilson over 64.5 receiving yards. And Garrett Wilson to score anytime touchdown. We get 14-1 on Virgin Bet.
Love it.
This could be a crazy game.